are making?
Homemade pizza roll. Whatever, pizza dough, yeah.
Homemade pizza dough. Now, Chef Manny is going to be putting together these kits at the club so you can get all of the ingredients if you don't have them in your house. He's going to have everything ready for you. So we're going to get started here. We started with a pack of active dry yeast.
And you need this.
You do need that, but not quite yet. So we started with active dry yeast. We added a little bit of sugar and warm water. It's all in the recipe, the quantities. And we put it in our stand mixer to sit for 5 minutes so that it activated the yeast.
Yeah.
Now, James, do you know why we add sugar when we activate the yeast?
I have no clue.
Okay. Well, the reason we do that is because the sugar and the yeast interact with the warm water and create carbon dioxide. And that's what gets your pizza to rise. And it's so cool. We're going to see it rise. So we've already done that. The dough is, or the yeast has been activated. It's sat for 5 minutes. So we're on to the next step. Okay, thank you. We're on to the next step, and we're going to be adding olive oil, flour, and salt to the yeast, sugar, warm water mixture, and then we're going to beat it. So you can do this without a stand mixer. I have one. It makes life a little bit easier, and I put on the paddle attachment, but you could also do it with the dough hook.
That's
So,
yummy.
yeah, does it smell yummy? Okay, so I'm going to put this down. And you can tell when the yeast has been activated, it gets little bubbles on top of it. If it doesn't activate, nothing really will happen. It'll just sit there, and you don't want to use it because it's not, your dough is not going to rise. So just make sure that your yeast activates.
Something will happen.
Something will happen. Okay, so we are adding a little bit of salt. So it's actually 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to eyeball it with the 1 teaspoon because my little measuring spoons don't have quarter indicators. So we're just going to look at it and say, yeah, it looks about 3/4 of a teaspoon.
Salt?
That is salt. Yep, so we're going to dump that in. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We definitely want to do that, so I'm using extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so we're gonna go 1 and 2. Now, once I start that, I'm gonna turn the mixer on while I add the flour to it. So I'm just gonna put it on its lowest setting over here, just to start moving things around as we add in the flour. So it calls for 3.5 cups of flour. Whoa, right? It's pretty cool. It does all the work for you. Okay, so we've kneaded the dough together, and you can see it's about maybe about 1/2 to 1/3 of the volume of the bowl. We're gonna cover it and let it sit. I've preheated my oven. I'm gonna turn it off so it makes a nice warm environment to encourage the dough to rise. So I'm gonna cover this, I'm gonna let it sit on the oven, and then we're gonna take a look at it after. All right, everybody, we've let the dough rise, and remember it was about 1/3 the size of the bowl. Look how much it's come up, right?
Whoa.
It's a lot. It's pretty cool. So we've lightly floured a cutting board, and we're just gonna move this around a little bit so it's a nice floured surface.
Mom, it looks like a rainbow.
A little bit.
No,
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna split the dough in half. This is enough for 2 pizzas. Hold on, Lil.
Let me
So I'm gonna take half of the dough and take it off
that
of here.
looks like a cotton.
And I'm just gonna put it back in here for now because we're gonna make 2 different things. So you gotta punch it down to get all the air bubbles out of it, which the kids will do, but also I thought that it might be fun for the kids to make their own pizzas. So Lily's got a little ball of dough here. James has got his little ball of dough. I'm gonna move this knife out of the way. All right, now, here's what we gotta do. We gotta punch the dough down, punch it out, punch it out. Yeah, muscles.
I got some big giant muscles.
Big giant muscles. Okay. All right, and then you're gonna wanna put it back into a ball form. Okay.
Can you help you with that one?
Yep, James will help Lily. I'll help James. Back into a ball form. So we can roll it out into a pizza.
Can you help Lily? I don't know how to make a ball out of pizza.
All right, so next thing is we'll take our rolling pin. James knows how to do this. We lightly...
I know how to do that.
Yep, Lily does too. Now, so I'm just gonna gently stretch it.
Okay.
Gently stretch it.
Nice.
Now, James, what do you like on your pizza?
I love
Cheese and sauce, right?
I love some sugar on my pizza.
No, you don't love sugar on your pizza.
That's
But
gross.
Lily actually likes tomato pies, believe it or not.
I
She
do.
really...
I want potatoes on my pizza.
Well,
You mean tomatoes?
tomatoes is what she means, not potatoes. Although in the pub, we have a really great flatbread that has potatoes and rosemary. And it's really delicious. All right, so see how thin I've stretched this out? I've even put a few holes in it. Don't sweat it. If you put some holes in it, you can pinch the dough back together. And then once you're done that, once you got your dough all rolled out, a couple things I like to do. First, you gotta brush it with some olive oil so that your dough doesn't get too soggy. If you put sauce on it, it might absorb the sauce, but the olive oil will stop that from happening. Second, if you're making an adult pizza, or if your kids are a little bit more adventurous than mine, they might be interested in a little bit more seasonings. You can season the crust as well. Salt, pepper, garlic, salt, Italian seasoning, whatever you really like. And then I like to pre-bake my crust a little bit. I know my oven, and it doesn't really get as hot as, hold on Lily, it doesn't really get as hot as I want it to get. So I do pre-bake it a little bit, pull it out, add the toppings, and stick it back in for a little bit. So we are going to roll out our pizzas. We're gonna top them, we're gonna bake them, and then we'll show you how we make out. And voila, we have James's pizza with cheese and sauce. Lily prefers her just as a tomato pie. And I made the adult pizza with ricotta and all kinds of seasonings and different blend of cheeses. So what's really nice about this recipe is you could do a little bit of both. So what I made sure that I did, I used a pizza stone because I had one. Manny's recipe calls for flouring, or dusting, I should say, with cornmeal on your crusts. Gives it that nice crunch. I didn't have cornmeal. It's not the end of the world. If you have it, use it though, because it's really good. Preheat your oven to 475 while you're rolling everything out, and make sure you really grease down the pans or the pizza stone, whatever you're working with olive oil. I mentioned putting some olive oil on the crust itself and pre-baking. This was nice and firm crust. It cooked up really quickly, so I think I pre-cooked it for about 5 minutes before I pulled it out and added the toppings to it. So I hope that you and your kids enjoy making some pizza. And if you're looking for the pizza kits, give us a call, send us an email. We will get you everything you need to do this with your kids at home. Enjoy.